Hey guys, Steve Seymour here with the Investor Agent Podcast. Today we have Scott Darling on as our guest. Scott, thanks for being on.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
All right. So Scott joined us recently from RE/MAX. You said 27 years there?
Yeah, 27 plus there.
And we are honored to have you here. So thanks for joining the company.
It was a good move. I thought I thought I'd known everything, but now I find out that I don't. So it's a good thing.
I think if anyone thinks they know everything, they're naive, right? So a lot of alignment in your pathway in real estate and what we're attempting to create for new agents, which is, not just being 100% on the transaction side of the business, but investing along the way to really create wealth in real estate. So let's go back to the beginning with you. What got you into real estate in the first place?
I was the biggest piece of overhead for a general contractor. And so I usually went to my office on Mondays. I was a chief estimator for a contractor. And so I went to the office on Mondays and turned in my paperwork, get over the work for the week. And on a Wednesday, my boss called and said, hey, can you come in tomorrow? I'm like, what's going on? So I said, the best thing that can happen to you is you get fired. And I was the biggest piece of overhead, and that was my last day, the next day. And we had looked into some real estate. My wife had taken a real estate class, and so she took the 101, then I took the 101, then she took the 202. And so we got into the real estate there, and then we started purchasing properties. One at a time. We had a townhouse, and then we kept that and purchased our primary residence, and then we found another one and another one and another one. And then my wife's like, did you buy anything today? And I'm like, yeah. She says, well, how much do we make per month? She didn't care where it was. She never looked at them. She just said, how much do we make per month? So that was great because the cash flow was really king, and it was easy to purchase properties. We started, back in early 90s. We started purchasing properties.
And, looking back, can you see how that really set you apart in just terms of creating wealth versus had you just done sales?
Oh, absolutely. You can work as many hours as you want and sell so many transactions, and then you have to scale that somehow, either hiring assistants, buyer's agents, building your team to do that. But again, it's transaction. And, we were always in pretty decent shape financially. My wife worked, she's a nurse, and had easily enough to get any job. But it was nice to have that, the cash flow come in on those months. Well, I didn't sell 5 houses this month. I sold 1 house. I'm like, okay, the cash flow from the rental properties helps out and offset that. And then, as time goes on, we accumulate more and more and paying more and more off. And then it was like, okay, so how much cash flow do you need to live on? And can we just retire on cash flow? And so that's how our mentality went. Like, how can we keep accumulating cash flow?
Yeah, because I think a lot of agents, we're in the business of finding a deal, right? Mm-hmm. Getting it under contract, helping get the financing together sometimes, getting it to closing, and then we get paid one time. Where if you do that for yourself, you get paid time and time again,
over again,
right?
In fact, it's mid-month or towards the end of the month now. I'm thinking, okay, another week, I get paid again.
Yeah, and it's something that we encourage agents so much here because we know it's a commission roller coaster, and when the market's great, that's great, make a ton of money. If market slows down, but what happens if you slow down? What happens if you want to, you're going fishing tomorrow, right? And it's like, if you're going fishing tomorrow, you're probably not out there selling houses too.
No, when I was in what I call productivity mode, with transactions going up and up and up and doing a lot more deals and that sort of thing, still had all my cash flow. When I'd go out fishing on my boat, I make sure I had DocuSign and email and all that stuff, and I could still work while I was catching fish. So that was kind of fun too. But
kind of nice to just fish too, right?
It's so much better when you don't even have to check your email. Like take friends out fishing and they're checking their email the whole time. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, oh yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference in the way you live. And to me, there's different transitions. Like there's transactional, which is what I did selling houses. And then I got into transactional and what we call passive income, which is rental properties. But truly, rental properties are not passive.
That's
you
true.
are always
That is
doing
true.
something. There's always a tenant that has an issue or a maintenance issue or
Call it semi-passive.
Semi-passive.
You're making money when you're sleeping, but you're also handling maintenance calls, in the middle of the night.
We've structured my schedule so I wouldn't have to do that as well, and I don't keep my phone near my bed, so that stays away. So, but we're transitioning from all right now we're into passive income or semi-passive to how can we move to the next level of income, which is more passive income. So there's a whole transition, and as you grow your investment products, whether it be a townhouse or a condominium to a duplex to a quad to commercial real estate or a multi-unit sort of thing, you may be doing less work. You may be doing more work on all those properties, but if you get out of that into other avenues, and we've talked in the past about private lending or syndications, and there's a whole nother level of investing. And that was one of the great things about coming here that I didn't know about was I was pretty good just cruising along on my quote semi-passive income, and thought, I can live without any transactions, and I can. But the key was I can do stuff that's more passive and still provide additional cash flow every month on top of what I'm already doing. So we're looking at different things now, which is great, and that's a real huge advantage of VRA is surrounding yourself with people that are doing better than you or have different ideas in the investing world. Yeah.
And, if anyone's listening, I know you started buying in the 90s and you said it was easier to get the cash flow then. But, one thing I like to encourage people to do is to get over their roadblocks, their excuses. Do you have any advice for someone that's really wanted to buy a rental property? They've been talking about it for years, but they haven't pulled the trigger?
Yeah, so personal experience, you think it's cost too much and it doesn't quite work and all that stuff. And then as time goes on, real estate appreciates and I should have bought that. Like that 3-unit, that triplex on the beach block in Ocean City, New Jersey for $179,000.
It was too much at the time.
Who would ever pay that? That's ridiculous, right? So,
Now.
and the 3-unit in Downingtown, where I could get it for $100 and sell half of the twin for $89, and it cost me $11,000 for 2 units. Another one lost there. But
so again, are you saying if they have the excuse that it's too much, it's too expensive,
there's always going to be an excuse. Just go do it.
That excuse will probably be there in 3 years.
No, right? the regret will be there in 3 years. The excuse will always be there. They'll come up with something. And I used to teach investing in real estate for about 13 years to beginners. Here's how you get started. Here's what we'll look for. And I find in a class of 80 people, there might be 1 or 2 that actually goes and does it. And those are the people that are moving forward in their lives in cash flow and investing. A lot of people want to learn, but they don't want to apply. And I think that's the real key to getting into real estate is, yes, you can learn all you want, watch all the podcasts, read all the books, take all the classes. But until you put something to action, you really have nothing still. So my recommendation is you got to jump in on something, and you might make $100 a month now, but rents may go up, and then you're making $200 and $300, and you do that again, and now it's $600, and then you do it again, it's $900, and rents went up again, now it's $1,200, and it will multiply over time. And I'm still reading and learning myself, and I'm finding that still all the best investors are saying, when's the best time to invest in real estate? And the answer is always yesterday.
Right.
So you need to get in there today so that tomorrow is today's yesterday.
I love it. I love the perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I've interviewed a lot of landlords and some landlords that have been in the business 20, 30, 40 years even. And the one thing that's very consistent when I ask them, what's your biggest mistake? It's either not buying more or selling properties that they wish they'd never sold. It's usually it. I sold that one and it's now,
Yeah. I've kept most of my properties. I did have some flips and that sort of thing, but I do like the cash flow, so I try to keep them all because that's why I buy them. Now, should I have sold some of those to buy a different type? You sell 5 condos to buy a 10-unit? Yeah, it might be easier to manage, that sort of thing. So you have to think about that. I got really comfortable for about 5 or 6 years and didn't buy anything. Those years I regret because my cash flow would probably be double what it is today if I just kept going in those years. And I don't know why I stopped, except that.
Well, you said it. You got comfortable.
I got comfortable. Like, yeah.
That's the downside. You get some cash flow coming in. You're not as motivated, right?
Yeah. So, again, the key is to just go ahead and do it. And there's people out there that will help you. I mean, there's no question about it. You can read in books and podcasts and all that stuff, and there's a lot of great ones out there. But I think one of the key things that you find is if you surround yourself with like-minded or people that are above you in real estate, above you by meaning they've done it, they've been there, they did that, and they've gone to the next level, those people can really help out, and they love to see you succeed. They really do. But if you
That's probably the biggest misconception that I see, just because we live in this kind of like dog-eat-dog world where it doesn't seem like there's, you walk out on the street that people are really, have your genuine interest at heart to what's best for you. And when you surround yourself with, obviously there's all different types of real estate investors out there, but real estate investors that have that abundance mentality.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If you sell someone else a rental property, your cash flow is not going to go down, right?
Right.
You're going to help them out.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I got a text last night. Hey, I got an off-market property. It's a duplex in Westchester. Are you interested?
Hey, wait, I'm interested in that.
Well, here's the thing. I said no because that's not where I'm going.
Yeah.
But there are other people that do want that. So when you think about, okay, why would I hire another real estate investor to help me purchase rental real estate? Because they'll just buy all the good deals themselves. Well, they may be in a different position
that's
in their life.
Not true.
And it's not true because I'm not going to buy that duplex. I don't want that. I'm beyond that. I'm going to the next level of things. Now, for that first timer, that's great. Maybe it's a little too high price for a first timer. Maybe it's someone who owns 2 or 3 properties. They would go to that type of unit. But the realtors aren't going to buy everything. First of all, it surprises me how few realtors own investment real estate property.
I know, it's crazy.
It is. I mean, there was probably at RE/MAX in my office, there are probably 15%, maybe 20% people own rental real estate. And then I move here and it's like 47% or 50%.
Yeah, we're about 50% of our agents.
Yeah, and that's going to increase just because they see the
other
value
50% want to, and they're in process of trying to.
Right, and those people, they're in a good spot for it because now they're surrounding themselves with people that are already doing it.
Yep.
So now their comfort level goes so much higher because they he did it, and I'm smarter than him, or I can do the same thing he did, or whatever, or she. I mean, there's a lot of women investors in our office too, which like kind of surprising. They're like, let's go get it.
Yeah,
which is great.
What are some things that really helped you with your career that you could just relay in terms of staying focused, staying driven? Because, Scott's here 7 a.m, reading, constantly learning, giving back, sharing his wisdom and knowledge with others, helping people. If anyone needs help, Scott's always willing to help out. And, what do you think that is that has just helped you stay driven in the business?
Well, education was the most important thing to me, and my wife tells me, and her father-in-law always told me too, nobody can ever take away your education. They can take away your job, they can take everything else, but they can't take your education away. So I found that being at RE/MAX for so many years, I went to the RE/MAX conferences every year, and I've had a coach since the year 2000, and if you keep associating yourself with newer people, they may know something. Like going to the RE/MAX conferences, there's 5,000 or 10,000 people that go to those conferences every year, or even like the Tom Ferry conference, which is a great conference because it's meat and potatoes and it's all people sharing. Those conferences will give you an idea, and I can specifically say I went to a conference. I talked to this guy in Phoenix. I had lunch with him for 45 minutes. He gave me 2 ideas. I implicated him, and within a month, I had $38,000. Like, why wouldn't I go spend $1,500 on a conference?
Yeah, more than paid for itself.
Oh, heck yeah. And we become best friends. I've referred him business. He's referred me business. So the education keep coming back. In fact, at my old brokerage, I had the manager come and say, Scott, I want to show you this new idea I have. I think, might work for our office. And he pulls it up on the TV screen and he's showing me how it works. I said, I've been using that for 14 months. Like, it's not new. It's like, where have you been? Because they don't go get the information. People get stuck So those people here at VRA or any other brokerage, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck with what your brokerage or what your friends have to say. You got to go out to other parts of the country and learn these different things. I talked about my coaching, and at one of these conferences I went to, it was a Howard Britton conference. A girl from Vermont had a moving truck, and on the side of it, she said, "Buy or sell with me, use my moving truck for free." I'm like, what a great idea. So I got one, and I was the first one in the area that had one, and that truck got totaled, but it lasted 16 years, and to this day, that was in 2016, that died, that idea. But to this day, I still get past clients that say, "Scott, can I borrow your truck?" And free to charities. Like, you just get your name out there, something new. But I would have never figured that out if I hadn't gone to one of those conferences. And then the other part about education is the coaching. That's real key, because I hired my first coach in 2000. He says, "So what are we going to do? What are we working on? What do you want to accomplish?" And I said, "Well, I want to get a buyer's agent, a moving truck, and a Harley Davidson." Okay.
Did they all happen?
6 weeks. In 6 weeks, I had all three. And they're like, "Well, how am I going to pay for a moving truck, $40,000 moving truck back then?" It was $890 a month lease. I'm like, how am I going to afford an $890 lease per month? I got 5 advertisers that put the name on the back of my truck, made $1,000. It was $190 positive cash flow. There's cash flow day one, and I didn't have to pay for my truck.
Creative financing.
There it is. It was very creative, yeah. So, but back to the question, it really comes down to associating yourself with the right people and also getting out of your comfort zone around where you are now and go somewhere to get the education. Even your continuing education, like I never got it at the board or locally. I went to Lancaster. I went to Berks County. I went to Upper Montgomery County. I went to Bucks County. Well, why would you travel when you can get it right here? Well, all those agents that went to that class, they have no agents in Chester County to refer to.
How
so
smart is that?
I got all the referral business, all of it.
It's so smart.
You put yourself in front of people.
You're going to be in the class anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to touch on that I think is unique to Scott. I think we all have a different philosophy on life, and we have different mindsets that we adopt in time. And Scott has 100% adopted the winning mindset. If you're going in, we're actually going to go catching tomorrow, right?
No, we're not going fishing. We're going catching.
We're going catching. But with that said, I want you to share a little bit of your winning strategies with your Jeep, some of the things, because I want to tap into the mindset here. You can apply this to anything with business as well. So
okay.
Scott is excluded from pretty much any type of drawing from anyone that he knows at this point.
Actually, I got into one yesterday.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right.
So
because you have a winning mindset.
I have a winning mindset. So my last year at Remax, a guy in my office was selling a lot of raffle tickets for the Lions Club. You want to donate $100 and chance to win a Jeep. I said, okay, but I want to pick the number because I have these lucky numbers. And I said, I want to pick numbers. I said, what numbers do you have? I said, 551. Great. Fives are lucky for me. So I said, I'll take it. So I won the Jeep. I won a 2022 Jeep Wrangler, $44,000 vehicle. It cost me $100. That was a good investment. So
this isn't a one-time thing. This is a reoccurring
I won
pattern of Scott continuously winning raffles and just winning.
So going back previous to that, I had also won the Fantasy Football League. How I did that, I don't know, because I have no idea who these players are in the same office. So now they don't want me to buy any more raffle tickets in the office. But years ago, this started when I was in college. I put 10 postcards into a radio station for a raffle for all expense paid trip for the weekend to go see Bob Seger in Los Angeles. And I was in New York then. And so at that lunchtime that day, I was with all my buddies at lunch. And I was, oh, yeah, in a few hours, they're going to be drawing my number. I'm going to Las Vegas. I'm going to Los Angeles this weekend. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Dang, if I didn't win that contest. And I had a lot of friends wanting to go with me that weekend. So, and then you mentioned about the raffle thing. There's another raffle that I just entered in it. The raffle number was a lucky number. So I already put something in front of my desk. It says, I won this vehicle October 7th, 2023. That's when the drawing is. but I put it out there in the universe saying it's already happened. So it'll be nice when I win it.
The key is what you shared with me before was going into these raffles, you already believe that you would win.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like legitimately believe. Because anytime I've gone into a raffle, I'm like, I'm not going to win this. Sometimes I don't even play because I'm like, there's no chance I'm going to win. Someone else is going to win.
Someone's got to win.
Right. But imagine that winning attitude in business as well. You know, I don't like to raffle because I leave it up to chance. Like when it's up to me, I'm like, yeah, I can make this happen. Right. But when it's up to chance, but it's amazing that you applied that winning strategy and have actually had major success in winning things by chance as well.
Yeah. So don't take my advice, don't plan on winning raffles and winning the lottery and that sort of thing, because the chances are very, very slim. But if you have that attitude that you will win, and I will win the offer on that condominium, I will win that offer on that, apartment complex, I will win the day. And, the key is you're not going to win all the time, but if you put things in place to win as many times as you can, it's great. Like who was it? Brian Buffini, he's another real estate coach that I've used in the past. He says, how do you win the day? You got to win the year first, or if you win the day, you win the week, and you need to win the week, you need to win 3 days. To win the month, you need to win 3 weeks. To win the year, you need to win 8 months. So you don't have to win all the time, but you just have to win a few times here and there and here and there, and it'll grow and accumulate on top of that. And you just got to do a little bit at a time, and things grow on top of each other. We could have bought, 2 or 3 properties a year, but we didn't. It was like one here, and it just kept coming slowly, but now
still accumulated a lot of properties.
It accumulated, and we've done very well with our rental real estate. Yeah,
it's amazing. I appreciate you being on today. Any last words of wisdom before we wrap up?
Put it to action. Whatever you're going to do, you have to put it to action. And when I taught my real estate classes, I said, you've got to pull the trigger. Yes, you'll be afraid. Yes, it will be difficult. And another quick story, when I first went in to buy sheriff sale properties, I went in, I had my money with me, I knew the property, I saw it in the book, it was coming up, okay, 3 sales to go, 2 sales to go, 1 sale to go, and my hands are sweating. I got my deposit money, I'm like, and then they go, and that property's been continued. I'm like, whew, I'm glad I didn't have to buy that one. But it was scary the first time, but then after that, it was just, let's just go in there and see what we can buy today. And that's the same thing with everything you do in life. You got to jump in. You got to do it. It's not going to happen by chance. Yes, there's some luck in it, but it's not going to happen by chance. You have to put yourself in a position to be a winner.
So if anyone's looking to invest in real estate, it'd be nice to have someone with a lucky winning attitude behind them, in your corner, supporting you and helping guide you through the process. So, make sure to reach out to Scott if you need any support, because he's definitely willing to help and just comes from a great place of abundance.
Yeah, I'd be glad to help anybody. Even if you have another realtor, if you have a friend that's going to help you out, that's fine. You can always call me. I'll always give you a second opinion or a third opinion or point you in the right direction. It really doesn't matter to me. It's, I've done well myself. If I can help you, great. But I think the key is just get more advice from people and use me as much as you can. It's really, and free use, why not?
Well, thanks for offering that up. And,
hey,
thank you, Scott.
My pleasure, buddy.
All right. Take care, guys.
Let's go catch some fish tomorrow.
We will.